Max Verstappen is undeniably a box office sensation and has been one of the most interesting drivers since his breakthrough in Formula 1 in 2014. Verstappen's popularity has gradually grown over time. Now it's almost as though F1 fans know everything there is to know about this Dutch driver. But do they really? Let's find out. Hello and welcome back to Formula 1 Zone. Today we will throw light on Max Verstappen's 9 shocking things that you need to know. Number 9. Belgian-born but competes under the Dutch flag. First and foremost, the driver that competes under the Dutch flag was born in Belgium. Max Verstappen was born on September 30th, 1997 in Hasselt, Belgium, and his family lived in Bribe, Belgium. He is frequently seen waving the flag of Holland on top of the podium, but the fact is that he was born on September 30th, 1997 in Hasselt, Belgium, and his family lived in Brive, Belgium. So why does he refer to himself as Dutch? Verstappen and his father, during his karting days, used to spend days on end travelling an average 10,000 kilometres per season through Holland from venue to venue, meeting new people and learning about the Orange Army culture. Number 8. His dad put him in a go-kart aged 4. Max's father, former Formula 1 driver Jos Verstappen, claims that he has had his son around engines since he was a toddler. It wasn't particularly nerve-wracking because he had driven a quad bike since he was 2, thus he was familiar with speed and steering. Isn't that crazy? Before he placed him in a go-kart, he'd done a lot of things. Verstappen's father, who grew up in the paddock and raced from the age of 4, would purposely set up his son's kart with defects. Verstappen Sr. once told a Red Bull podcast that he did it a few times simply to understand his feeling. Even if his son were 8 years old and complained about the bitter cold, he would force him to compete. He wouldn't mind that his son couldn't move his fingers, he wanted to put things to the test. Max began competing when he was 7 years old, and he's been evidently racing and winning ever since. Number 7. Youngest Formula 1 driver. Verstappen was only 17 years old when he made his Toro Rosso debut, breaking Jaime Alguersuari's previous record. That is, when he drove his first race as an official full-time driver. He finished 7th in his second race with Toro Rosso, becoming the youngest driver in Formula 1 history to record a point. Verstappen continued to impress throughout his rookie season, putting together some spectacular drives and stunning overtakes. Carlos Sainz Jr., a much more experienced teammate, was easily outscored by him at the end of the season. Max finished the season with 49 points, while Carlos only managed to earn 18 points. Max's meteoric improvement impressed Red Bull, who opted to put him in the parent team's car, Red Bull Racing's car, starting with the Spanish Grand Prix and replacing Daniel Kvyat in the middle of the season. The race was the 2015 Australian Grand Prix, in which he managed to place 12th in qualifying, but unfortunately retired along half of the field in the actual race. Number 6. Giving his father a nosebleed. After being offered the opportunity to race for the top team at the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix, Max Verstappen replaced Daniel Kvyat and crossed the flag with flying colours. But this isn't the complete story. After Hamilton's initial crash at Rosberg, Verstappen was thrust into the lead on his Red Bull debut, closely followed by Kimi Räikkönen. After the race, Jos Verstappen reminisced on the final few laps when the adrenaline was at its highest. Everyone was so fixated on the displays that Jos began to bleed from the nose, which only stopped when his kid was declared the winner. At the very least, Max didn't let him bleed in despair. Number 5. Association with sports. Max has commented about his passion for other sports, including MotoGP and football, on numerous occasions. His preferred method of relaxation is to play a nice game of FIFA on his PlayStation. He also cheers the Spanish and Dutch teams on PSV and Barcelona. Verstappen's connection to football, however, is more than just his passion for FIFA and watching his club on TV. His maternal granddad, Robert Kumpen, who presided over KRC GNK, a Belgian football team, instilled him a passion for the game. Verstappen's family has a long history of involvement in sports, with both his parents, Jos Verstappen and Sophie Kumpen, competing in F1 karting championships. His uncle, Anthony Kumpen, is a former NASCAR driver who has an interest in Ridley, a racing bike manufacturer. Number 4. Training a one-man army. Every race driver must put in a significant amount of weight training and other physical exertion to prepare their bodies for the massive G-forces that they will experience during the course of a race. Many of these exertions target the back and neck, which are the most vulnerable to injury, which is why nearly all drivers devote a significant amount of time to them when at the gym. On the other hand, Max dislikes going to the gym as much as the other drivers. Verstappen prefers to exercise from the comfort of his own home, opting for a run whenever feasible, according to his performance coach Brad. When he has leisure time, Max also enjoys working on his watt bike and Skyping. Number 3, trying to bribe his drive instructor. You guessed it, the fun's not over yet! Verstappen had already competed nearly a season in Formula 1 when he turned 18 and set out to become road legal. He was full of self-assurance, but when things did not go as planned, the Dutchman sought refuge in other possibilities. Verstappen joked about how tough his driving coach was, which was obviously for his benefit. Max had caps and t-shirts on hand in case his coach needed to be bribed, but he declined. As a result, F1 introduced a new Verstappen rule, mandating drivers to be at least 18 years old to compete. Number 2, skyrocketing paycheck. Even if Formula 1 rookies aren't the highest paid athletes in the world, it's no secret that once you start winning races, you'll be rewarded with a massive sum of money at the end of the season. Of course, the same thing happened to Verstappen, who, after an outstanding debut, began to work his way up the grid, earning him a $4,000 raise in just 5 years. Isn't that insane? In 2016, this teenager's pay was close to $600,000. His compensation increased to $3 million the following year, then to $10 million in 2018, and to finally $25 million in 2021. As a result, he's become one of the highest paid Formula 1 drivers. That may appear to be an overwhelming amount, but we can't say he didn't earn it. Red Bull had been on the back of growing for an extended period, and Verstappen's entrance was a refreshing change of pace in the sense that no one else could handle the oversteering cars that Red Bull was producing at the time. Max not only adapted to the vehicle, but he also won the race on his first drive, giving him the self-esteem that Red Bull had been lacking for so long. Following that season, Red Bull continued to enhance their cars to the point where this one underdog is currently leading the Drivers' Championship over Mercedes. Number 1, he had to Google his name once to get into a circuit. Verstappen is presently challenging Hamilton for the Formula 1 World Championship, so it's unlikely that he'd go unnoticed. On the other hand, Verstappen remembers having to Google his name and find a picture of himself to get the security officer to let him through because he had forgotten his pass at the Singapore Grand Prix in 2018. I couldn't run on the track because I didn't have my pass, he explained, so I displayed myself on Google and the guys then said, "I'm the driver and I want to get on the track." That's all we've got for you today. It's easy to say that Max Verstappen is living the life of his dreams, but when you work just as hard as he has, you have every right to be living it. While his racing career has had its ups and downs, there is no doubt that Verstappen is one of the most thrilling racers to ever go to the track. What do you all think? Let us know in the comments down below, and while you're there, don't forget to drop a like and push the bell icon so you never miss out on a new video from us.